Good evening, my peoples. Today we're gonna jump right back into reviews for systems that nobody cares about. Last time it was columns for Sega Master System. Not a whole lot of people talked about it. And today we're gonna do some Intellivision reviews, or, well, just one review, which is BurgerTime. I mean, it's a real shame that Intellivision doesn't get talked about anymore, because just like any other system that has any following, it has some pretty damn good games if you think about it. B-17 Bomber, Auto Racing, Utopia, and arguably the best game of the entire generation of systems, and let alone the Intellivision, BurgerTime. BurgerTime is truly amazing. I'm not kidding when I say this is probably the best game of the entire generation. I mean, it's so good, you can't even compare it to another video game. In fact, the only thing I can think of comparing it to is a burger, a perfectly seasoned burger, with 3 types of gameplays, which of course are good, fun, replayable, and addictive gameplay, which most games don't usually get all 3 right. Usually they'll get 1 or 2, and then they're missing out on the other. I know there are a lot of people who would consider story an important element of a game. Here's my stance on that. Story is only important if the developer makes it important. That's my stance. And BurgerTime, of course, the story wasn't made important, so I'm not gonna really talk about that, because that's just unfair. You know, that wasn't the purpose of this game, or really wasn't the purpose of any game back then. And, you know, I'm not gonna be on my knees sucking BurgerTime's cock this entire review, because I have problems with it. This port of BurgerTime isn't perfect, although, to be honest, this is the only version of BurgerTime I've ever played. Maybe I'm uneducated doofus now, but that's okay. I'm gonna get to the negatives. But for now, I'm not done with the positives, because there are so many positives for BurgerTime that's just gonna be most of the review, so I'm sorry about that. The big hook of BurgerTime is that you want to get a high score, but the game doesn't just give you points all willy-nilly. You actually have to try and earn points. You have to play the game differently to try and earn points, and that's the big fun of it. You have to take your time and try and crush the enemies with the burger, or lure them on top of the food, and then drop it down, and you'll score massive points. I mean, that's the fun of it, you know? Trying to build up a high score, and not really just rushing through it. Because if you do that, then BurgerTime isn't really that fun. BurgerTime also keeps you completely focused 100%, which, again, not a whole lot of games can do successfully. And why does it do that? Why do you need to be focused 100%? Because it's very easy to get cornered in BurgerTime. If you're not 100% focused on everything, then you'll be swiftly destroyed by a spinning pickle. I mean, look at this pickle. I mean, why is it spinning? Why is there a spinning pickle? It looks like a living flat earth theory. It's disgusting. Although, I like pickles on burgers, so why is it trying to attack you? Why not get on the burger to be eaten? Actually, when I think about it, I don't think a pickle wants to be eaten. You know, if I was a pickle, I don't think I'd want to be devoured at McDonald's. Anyway, screw that. The other enemies that you'll find, fried egg, you know. Gotta love the fried eggs. Actually, I know this might be controversial, but I hate regular eggs. It has to be on a sandwich. And of course you have hot dogs, which, I guess that makes sense. Maybe hot dogs and burgers are natural enemies. That's fair enough, but I guess they just picked some random foods and said, here, take it. So, I know I can drag on about how good BurgerTime is for the Intellivision. Here's what the negatives boil down to. Because this game is so good, one of the negatives is the Intellivision controller itself. particularly the side buttons. I'll press the side button, and the fucking pepper doesn't come out, which, by the way, is the only thing you can use when you're cornered to get out because it stuns the enemies. So that's your only line of defense other than killing them directly, but that's not possible when you're cornered. And when I press the side button, it doesn't deploy, and that's really frustrating. And we're not even done quite yet. There's a few other things that mostly minor, to be honest. Whenever you kill food, you have to be careful. You have to watch your goddamn step, because every step of the way, there might be an enemy that might spawn directly on top of you, and you get destroyed without even knowing it would be there. I mean, come on, man. This isn't Indiana Jones in the BurgerTime of Doom. This is a video game, and I don't want to be trapped and have to worry about that, because that's cheap, you know? That's cheap as hell. And the last of the negatives isn't really a big deal either. I think it's just just that which really pisses me off, because that's so cheap. That's not good game design. You almost nailed it. You almost nailed it perfectly. Anyway, the last of the negatives, again, it's not a big deal. It's just that if you want to actually play BurgerTime, this isn't something that anyone can jump into. In fact, my first time around, I didn't like BurgerTime that much because I didn't know what I was doing. It's a pretty big trial and error game. You have to learn the level design, which spots are the worst places to be, and how to properly trap food. And that's pretty much it, really. I mean, BurgerTime is nearly perfect. I don't like to say that, but it's actually fantastic. It isn't perfect, but I just have a fun time every time I play it. It's not something that's gonna leave like a story-driven impact on you, or it doesn't have the most complicated of gameplay, but it's just something where if you play it, you're just bound to have fun. And that's why, oh god, I gotta give it a score. Oh man, just pull something out of my butthole. Actually, no, I did think about it this one. I'd say 9.2, because, alright, so it's fantastic because you can jump in and play it. I mean, but the problems are, of course, we have the minor problems that I listed earlier, and other games, they have more complicated gameplay, which, it's just something that adds on, you know? And BurgerTime, it didn't need to have complicated gameplay, but I just wouldn't give it the 10 out of 10 score, just because I like to have a game that leaves an impact on me, too, after I play it. But BurgerTime, it's an absolute must-play. In fact, I'd buy an Intellivision just to play BurgerTime, because it is so damn good. It nails all the good gameplay aspects that really all it could have used was just a little bit more complexity. Only a little bit more, though, because it actually has more complexity than a lot of the arcade games at the time. So, BurgerTime, absolutely phenomenal. Play this game, like, at all costs. Or you could even play the ColecoVision port, which might be better. I don't think I've played it, but anyway, I'll check you next time. That sounds really weird. I'm not gonna check you. I'm gonna talk to you next time, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not actually touching you in any way. Alright, this is weird. Alright, I'll see you later, everyone.